Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Local Pundit. I'm Josh Anthony. This is your Wrexham News and Update show times 2. Yes, it is times 2 today because we had the Max news today. It's July 4th earlier, but we had scheduled something this morning that Sheldon and I were going to talk about because the news dropped yesterday about Mulls being injured, a little bit more coming out, a little bit more out there in the public. So we wanted to sit down. We're having a good chat. So Sheldon and I have gotten together and we're like, screw it. Might as well do it with the rest of the community so we can all enjoy. So I'll bring Sheldon in there. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, everyone. I am doing well.
Yes. Awesome. Thanks all for coming in. I know we'll do a quick one here. As we know, it's July 4th. Happy July 4th. Everybody be safe, have fun, and make sure you drink some water if you're doing other things too, and be careful out there. So, but yeah, we were sitting here having a chat yesterday. And it was mostly about who's going to fill the shoes with Mullin. We'll do that, and then we'll talk about let's talk about Max probably while we're here. And also, I wanted to bring up too before we dive into that. What this also came out too right after we got off earlier. Shoot, why is that not working? Add to stage. Sorry, I'm using it. Remove. Add to stage. There we go. This also came out earlier about the fixture news, Sheldon, about our Sheffield United versus Wrexham are going to be playing against each other. Carabao Cup first round away to Sheffield will take place on Tuesday, August 13th. They'll kick off at 8 p.m., so it's going to be noon my time. But yes, the match will be our first visit to Bramall Lane since the thrilling FA Cup tie against the Blades in 2023. It's one of our first two-round fixtures chosen for the main broadcast, and will be all the games will be shown on Sky Sports. So that's it. No ticket news yet, but this also dropped right as we were coming on earlier today. But yes. What do you think about that? All of our games are getting televised.
Yeah, Carabao Cup. It's not unexpected. It's very possible that we could lose this one. So yeah, they want to televise it. It's not an easy match for us up first. So I'm not surprised they want it televised. And if they are being fair and mixing around the teams that have been televised in the league, they'll take every opportunity to show us in the cups.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. Happy 4th. They sorted out your iFile. Did you sort out your iFile? I did. They took my money.
No, I didn't try. I'll try it tonight.
Okay. Let's see. There's a lot. Nick's in the house. Aaron's in the house. Hello, everyone. Yo. Before we get to the stuff we're going to talk about Mulls Out, who's in. You want to have your say on the Max stuff? What are your thoughts on Max?
Yeah, Max is a great signing to continue with us and definitely progress. It's very, very similar to what I've said with AO. We have him now for 3 years, and either the team progresses, we get up into the championship, and we're in a good position for him to stay with us. Yep. Or if we don't, and the whole team manages to stagnate, but himself and or AO show real promise, then they can be sold for decent profit to another team, allowing them to go on further with their careers if we can't go with them. But they're young players. They can become the bones of the team going forward. We need people who are going to be with us for 3, 4, or 5 years. Yep. Obviously, we'll need to resign them at some point. But yeah, they can come with us.
I agree. I think it's a good sign. The age profile is good. The Lewis Brunt one's great. So 22, 23 years old between AO, Max, and Brunt. Those are good numbers there. What's up, Nick? What's up, Nick? How you doing? And Aaron is, yes, thank you, Marie. No problem. You missed the stream earlier. It was up early for me. But yeah, I did update the Discord if people want to get into the Discord. And Matt from the Racecourse Ramble is also in. So how you doing, Matt? Hope everyone is there. But yes, talking about the iFollow, I got it sorted out. They took it was $178, so that's good. That's good money spent. Let's hope.
Yeah, obviously they haven't come up with a season pass for all teams.
I was a little disappointed in that. I mean, that's more than
I knew they wouldn't.
Oh my God. But so I was doing 33 a month last year times whatever 9 months. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. We'll see. John says he was glad that Max ended up signing. Yes, because you're right. He had 1 year left in his contract, and in January he could have started talking to other clubs. So good to get him tied down.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the world for Max if we do sign someone, and he gets bumped out of the first team regular. Because he will get his shot with the team. He's earned it. I think with Parky and the rest of the squad, similar to last year, he will get his opportunities. He will get to play, even if he is not our first pick. Now, he may very well be our first pick, depending on who comes in. At the moment, I would believe he's a first pick, but someone would need to come in to dispossess him of that spot, I think, if that happens. And he can fight for that place throughout the season, and it may help his progress.
Yeah.
Obviously, playing progress, everything does. But he's young enough and he can fight for the position, and we can see how it goes.
Yeah, he can fight for a position. He feels secure because he has a 3-year deal. Not having the contract probably was a little uneasy. He said this morning that he wanted it done. He wanted it, get it. He likes where the club is going. So, we're fighting on both fronts. We're fighting to bring new people in, and we're fighting to keep our players, our core group of players. And Max is definitely part of that too. So, I think it's great. Let's see, race course. Matt says, I heard they're going to stream through the Hanley friendly. If they are, that's great. That's great. So, that's great. And I think Matt's going to that too. iFollow costs €166 per season, right?
Sounds right.
Sounds about right. 178 US dollars we had. So, it's, if you want to watch them every week, you got to do it. I think that the things that are coming up in the summer, they'll probably be on ESPN and probably on iFollow. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, but 46 matches, you're at for like €4 a match.
Yeah.
Less than €5, $5. It's like, that's fair enough.
Yeah. €5, $5. It's fair enough. I mean, you can spend that on a coffee. I think I spent more than on coffee. All right. So this is what we were talking about yesterday. We did cover it on the update show yesterday. Go back and watch it. As it hit, we broke it and hit. We didn't break it. We came on when it broke. But Sheldon and I were sitting here yesterday having a conversation about it. Obviously, Paul Mullin has had surgery 2 weeks ago in London. It's been a long-term lower back hamstring issue, minor spinal surgery, it says. And he was getting treatment. And then it became evident throughout that treatment that was never going to, Band-Aid was not going to do it. They had to go and have surgery. So 2 weeks ago, he had surgery. And you and I were chatting yesterday about, okay, if he's out, we don't know how long, because it says undisclosed amount of time, and they want him there for the majority of the season, which is the words that scared me and you. And we don't know anything, but we just wanted to bring that up. So that's the topic we're going to bring up today, talking about the little injury news about Paul Mullin. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, what scares me about the way they word it is you always have to look for the fluff and the positive spin on something. Mm-hmm. And they always like to put it in the most positive words that they can, usually. Especially when it's your main striker or someone like this going down injured. And the fact that they thought the best wording that they should use without lying is more the majority of the season. That he will be back for the majority of the season. Now, looking at the simple words, the majority is more than 50%.
Yeah.
Which means he could be out for about 20 matches. That, and it worries me, because they could very easily have said, have him back early season, pre-Christmas. There's lots of other things they could have said.
Yes.
Than the majority. The only positive you can take from it, I guess, is if you say the majority of the season, you allow people to make up their own mind.
Sure.
And a lot of people are going to try and go the positive route. Oh, the majority, so he'll only be gone for a little bit.
Yes.
And I think that's the spin with using those words, is they want people to play with the words in their head and say the majority means a lot. The majority technically doesn't mean 90%. It means 51%.
51%.
But people will take the majority to be a large portion. So this is why it worries me. I don't expect him back until coming up towards Christmas, maybe. But he's going to need 4 weeks. He's going to need 4 weeks to build up his training anyway. At that point,
yeah,
I'd say around Christmas.
The exact wording was Mullin underwent surgery in London in the middle of June to ensure he is fit for the majority of the 24-25 campaign as we look ahead to our first season back in the Sky Bet League One. That to me, majority.
And to ensure.
Yeah, to ensure.
Like, to ensure the majority. It's like, so you're not quite sure?
Yeah, but
you're like,
they say ensure twice. There is no time frame as yet on Mullin's return, who will work through rehab with the club's medical department to ensure he can return to full fitness.
I'm gonna start a little bit of a rant here, and I can't not do it. Okay,
I will sit here and drink.
I don't like this. I don't like the wording of it. I don't like what they've done with this. And it follows along with other things the club have done. I do not think they are on the ball with looking after the players. I don't.
Well, that's a big shout. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It is. Mendy came back, and the argument would be that he came back maybe a bit too soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I mentioned it in our live stream when we were doing the watch along. I said, this is a very, very bad match to bring Mendy back. The pitch was destroyed.
Was that Colchester?
It was a bog. It was covered in water. It was sticky, and you give someone who comes back from that type of injury and you make them run in that sort of mud. I said it during the stream, and I think I only said it maybe a couple of minutes before he had his injury.
Then the pass went through.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I think they have pulled people back too soon. I think the Parky does sometimes have his favourites, and he pushes them or somebody pushes them. Mullin has said himself he pushed himself to come back too fast after the rib injury last year. Right? And what I don't like about this, can you pull back up the wording on this letter again?
Yep.
Because there's something in particular I want to show.
There you go.
Okay, stop there a sec. Okay, right, this bit. However, during off-season training, it became evident that this approach would not be able to continue. Okay, what was this approach? This approach was pumping Mullin full of painkillers and injections. Like you see in the American football films, you come off at halftime, right, doc, inject me up, I need to play through the pain.
Yep.
And it was stated by Parky in one of them, and I mentioned it at the time. He did an interview. I think it was a pre-match interview where he mentioned it. He mentioned about Mullin getting injections for the pain, and he's playing. And I was saying, this is not good to be doing this to players.
You said it after they won the league, or we went up. Mullin was outside talking to Rob's dad, and he looked uncomfortable. I think you said, or somebody, I don't know who said it. He said he looks uncomfortable. Now, could have just played a game, whatever. We're just having the conversation. He said he looks uncomfortable. That might have been you or somebody else, but it said he looks uncomfortable.
I know we were talking about he looked like he may have injured himself with the celebrations. There was he looked to be limping.
Yes.
And now at the time, it looked like he had injured himself, kind of running around and celebrating and whatever. But that could very well, now thinking back about it, now that you mentioned it, that could have been a flare-up of the pain or whatever injury or issue he had. That it was now settling down after the match. The painkillers wearing off and all of this, and now he went back to go to limping. Or having his issue or whatever it was.
This is 3 years on the bounce, they said. This is 3 years he's had this.
So they said this is 3 years. And this bit, during off-season training, it became evident. I am sorry. During off-season? Are you crazy? Are you telling me that in the same statement you say this has been an ongoing issue for 3 years, you realized in off-season training? Were you not looking during the rest of the season? Like, this does not connect. These different sentences that have been put in there for reasons, they just don't track when you look at all of them together. And we had on our Discord a really big discussion at the end of last season about the final 2 matches. And should we be playing our entire first squad?
Yep.
Should they be resting? Should
Yep.
Mullin be getting a rest? All of these things. We had every excuse for swapping out the team. We were
Yes.
talking about we have players that have been with us for a couple of years. Give them a final match in front of the crowd. We know they're going to be let go. Let them have a final match. All of this. And it came down to what I know is normal in football. It's no, everybody wants to play. The starting 11 want to be the starting 11. They're going to get annoyed and if you take them off, blah, 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 etc. And it's not what you do. Now, I understand it's not what you do for other teams as well because they have their own responsibilities. And if you put out weak teams at the end in the last couple of matches, you may affect someone else's results. Now, I don't think the teams we had mattered, but that's the general gist.
Yeah.
You don't ever play a weaker team because they just don't want that habit to kind of creep in. So I understand the mentality of it.
Keep going. Yeah, you want to win. I mean, no one goes out to suck or to get injured, obviously.
Yeah.
They want to go out and win. You know what I mean? So fair enough.
Okay, so leaving all that aside, there should be no way that they're not aware of this and that at some point he needs an operation and that they're not looking for the best time to do it. So were they honestly thinking that, okay, we're not going to do the operation this summer. We are going to go into another full season and we are going to give you injections and painkillers for the entire season.
Which is
what
we're going to do.
It must have been clear that this needs to happen at some point. So either they were pushing it down the road to say, well, maybe he'll retire in a year or two and then he can have his operation, but we can manage until then. Let's just keep pumping him full of it, full of these painkillers. I don't think that's right. Now, guys, make some comments on this, okay?
Yeah.
Am I being too harsh? Am I on the wrong side of this? Or just spin it on behalf of the club if you want to. Tell me the other side. Tell me, is there something I'm missing here? Or am I worried that there are people in the club that really don't give a shit about some of the players? It's about getting them on the pitch.
There's two comments here. Speaking of that, John Hemp said, I'd like to become a loyal fan enough that would still follow the club no matter who joined left. That's okay. Fair enough on that. Nikki D says, I was just about to say, I think the players telling them they're ready before they actually are, then sports medicine team is taking the word for it too quickly. Happens there. And then Marie from SoCal says, I remember this exactly. You want to take that first before we go to the Marie one?
Yeah, I agree with that. I can definitely put some of the blame on top of the players for pushing themselves too hard, for maybe feeling that a lot of pressure is on them, especially Mullin. And he did, but the one thing on the medical side is he's already done it.
Yep.
He did it with his rib injury, and he admitted to everybody he did it. So it is, at the end of the day, up to the medical team to take the best actions for the player also. And I think they should have done that with Mendy, and they didn't. Now, maybe Mendy was ready, and maybe the bad consideration was the pitch. That it's not the medical team's fault at all. Maybe Mendy was ready.
Yeah,
but
we got to remember that we're in lower league now. We're not on. Even, but another thing too. This is totally side note. JJ said I didn't expect to miss the rest of the season when he went out. That was in an article last week. Also, too, they didn't want to play in a 4G at Hanley. Away for one of the upcoming matches. Because they play at Hanley because they actually have a real ground. So they're thinking about those.
Okay, that's very fair. Yep. Yes, absolutely. There's been too many injuries on the 4Gs.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Going back to Leighton especially. Okay.
So
I agree with that. Players can push too hard, but it's up to the people behind the scenes to look after them.
Sure.
So yeah.
Marie from SoCal says, I think that was the last at the Stockport game when the players walk around and clapping the fans. There was a shot of Mullin, and the audio caught him saying something about his back. I think that's why he pushed away Daz. I think he was talking to Rob's dad, and he said something about my back, and then he pushed Daz away. If I'm wrong, let me know. I think it was the Stockport game. I could be way off, but let me know. But I think Marie is right about that. American football approach, 100%. Just give me the needle. Give me the needle, guy. They had the last 2 off seasons to fix this.
Okay, and this is where my next sort of flow is going to carry on with being unhappy about this. Right? If this needs to happen, then go figure out when you're going to do it. The only time to do it is in the off season.
Yep.
Right? So that's one thing. Now, we had 2 matches at the end of the season that Mullin did not need to be in, first of all. So, my opinion is they should have had his operation booked for the first week that he could do it as soon as the season finished. And when you're doing private hospitals and all of this, like you can kind of put it in mind, maybe we can do this earlier, but we have to see how the end of the season goes. Because obviously there's issues then if we end up in the playoffs, which was potential for a while as well. So it has to be free-flowing. But when you're going private hospitals, private surgeries, and you're paying big money, they look after you. It's a concierge service. They do it when you're ready.
Yeah. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Let's go. Yeah.
And we could have done that for Mullin, and he could have been in 4 weeks earlier than he did it. Instead, he was off to Vegas with the boys partying, and then he comes back from Vegas, and then they do a little bit of field training, and then all of a sudden, miraculously, everybody figures out this isn't going to work. Out of nowhere, out of where?
Well, there you go.
It's poor.
Nick says it's wholly possible that Mullin was actually lying to the trainers about what hurt and how much, so that he could keep playing, even though he was going to have surgery. Again, like we don't know all. It's just conversation. Obviously, we're just kicking the tires on it because it is important. Obviously, health is important, but I didn't think he needed to play those last 2 matches. Granted, we won. I get it. Vegas, whatever. Maybe they didn't yes, they knew there was a problem. Obviously, they said it. But, what did it take to be like, oh, we can't go any further than this? He's going to miss the tour, and he's going to miss the beginning of the season. We got to get this done now. So did it escalate? Did it get worse? You know what I mean? That's something that possibly can happen.
So your belief is that they were never planning this, and it was exactly as they said. They made a last-minute decision. When he came in one day, they just realized.
I'll do the counter argument just to have the conversation. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. And you're saying no, which is fair.
No, what I'm saying is they should have known.
They should have known.
I'm not quite disagreeing that they didn't just do this, but it opens up different questions. If they weren't saying that we need Mullin in surgery as early as possible, as soon as we finish the season. Then it opens up the other questions that they were planning on continuing with their treatments the way they were doing them, which we know they've been doing for months with Mullin, and giving him injections so he can play. So they're going to go through another season of it. Now, look, there's so many different factors here because I can take this to another level too. Last season, we were fighting for promotion, right? So, okay, you give him the injections, you push till the end of the season. But it seems like they had not decided he needed the operation in the summer, potentially. So now we have a new season with League One. If we do okay in League One, we're mid-table, but they know by Christmas we're not going to, or we're not easily going to get the playoffs. Then you pull out Mullin, get someone in January and put him in and give him a surgery. And we're not missing anything. You know what I mean? If in January during this season coming, we have nothing to play for, and we're comfortably mid-table, you can pull Mullin and give him his surgery, and it affects very little.
True. Well, that's the second part of what we're going to talk about afterwards about who's going to step up between now and then. Here's one through Adam Cruz. And by the way, the chat is good. Thank you for the chat. And I agree. Like I do like the conversation that's going on. I will get to the ones in there so we can keep it going. I like it. There's just a lot happening in the chat and just trying to make some points there. So they're all very good. And again, all of us is like, this is into, let me just say, Adam played American football as a player. I'm sure he wanted those shots, even if they weren't best for him. Yes, that's probably correct. You want to be out there and play with your team. Nick Donald says, but at a certain point, MRIs don't lie, and the trainers should do what's best at the first possible chance. He could have gotten surgery 2 weeks after the season, correct? And this is the one I'm gonna pass to you after this. Tess, I think this is too harsh. Obviously, the team didn't think this had to happen because they wouldn't want to risk him missing unnecessary time. Certain injuries can only be judged by what Paul says. Good shout there, Tess.
Okay,
good stuff.
Yeah, and okay, then if we're apportioning blame here, for want of a better word, then Mullin has done this to himself / his team. You know, it's like you have to be honest with your team too, or you put your team at risk.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen. Again, we just want him to be like, quote unquote, blame. It's like,
but hang on. But you have to expect players to do that. I'm
for
sorry.
sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very, very simple. You have to expect players not to be that honest. You know, you do a test with the medical team. Does this hurt? No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't hurt.
Well, here's the other
come
thing
on,
too.
you're a professional.
This was definitely before they came back for the preseason training. So something happened between Vegas or whatever, end of the season, and whatever. This is also the middle of June. So let's say it's June 15th. So something happened there, whatever it is. We knew about it, flare up, whatever it is. I'm not sure. But Nick says he was holding his back when he was talking to Rob's dad, and then he pushed him away. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's it. Which is I think you're right. Tess says, anyone with certain back problems, I have back problems sometimes too, they might think surgery is riskier than necessary, and the pain isn't dangerous. It's just frustrating. No, it's back and knees, man. Back and knees.
Okay, now that is a very fair point. Okay,
yes.
Any player who goes in for surgery knows that their career is on the line. And that's true, and I will absolutely give that to Tess. That is a very fair point. And something that should always be considered. So, and this is why, as well, as a medical team, you have to look after your players as best you can.
Yeah.
You have to understand this too. They don't want to go for surgeries.
No.
Because a surgery can be risky. Now, obviously, it can put them back in perfect order. But every time you come out of a team, you may not go back into the team at all. Right? Let's just go a slightly different way. Let's say when Mullin comes back, the person who is replacing him is on fire.
Yeah, Marriott.
He might sit a bench, and that's another worry for players as well. If I ever have to leave my team and I have the number one spot, I might not get it back. Now it is less of a worry for Mullin, or well, maybe it's not. I mean, he's human. He's a lead player, but everybody else would probably say it's less of a worry for Mullin, because they will usually bring Mullin back in at the earliest opportunity when they think he's ready. Unless we go out and buy a major star that comes in and is firing on all cylinders, and then sorry Mullin, you sit a bench.
Yeah, and then we have good depth. Stoner Combat Vet said I have 2 back surgeries. The second one was to fix that surgery. So let me put this out to the second one was to fix the surgery. This is also interesting too. Marie says maybe he wasn't trying to mask it. Here's the thing. I think this is highlighted this year because of what happened last year. Obviously, him going out, if he hadn't got hurt and missed so much, so this elevates it to like another level. Like, oh, real again? Are we like, how are we doing? So I think that's why, amongst everything else we're chatting about here, that's why this seems a little bit more heightened because of his injury last year and getting back to full fitness. Yeah. Right. Very possible. Marie says it wasn't trying to mask it. Drop a like on the video, by the way. Subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for coming in. And great, by the way, it's great chat in there. Again, this is all about just everyone has opinions. A good opinion, having a chat, not getting on everybody. So this is awesome. So thank you all very much. And Sheldon and I, like I said, we had this conversation yesterday. We're like, well, let's just bring it to the table to the community. So awesome. Jason Smith says it could be that the surgery was a last resort and they tried to solve it prior to having going under the knife.
He's had it for 3 years. They've been trying lots of things for a long time.
Which one said 3 years? Was this on the? I think it was on the.
It was in the letter. It was in the report. Yeah.
However, they do through the conservative 3 years of concern. That's a long time.
That's since we had him. That is since we had him.
Yeah. Yeah. What does anyone? I'm not a doctor. Lower back and hamstring issue. So. Minor spinal, like I don't know how. I mean, I always see that everything's connected. How are those connected? I'd love to know what that actually means. I would read. Aaron says, "How you doing, Aaron? How you doing?" I would say that from reading that, Mulls was against surgery. They said they had several different opinions before deciding on surgery. Surgery isn't always the best option.
Yeah, fair, very fair.
Yeah. Kim says Mullin is one player that is indispensable on Wrexham. So this is reckless at best and irresponsible at worst. Oh, Kim just laid. Wow. What do you think
Kim?
there?
This is what worries me. This it's the signs that are here that worry me, and I really hope it's not, because you can have the best medical team and you can have the best support team and all of this, but if they're truly working more for the team than for the players, that's dangerous to me on behalf of the players, and it's wrong. It's not like football in the 80s where get out there, kick lumps off each other.
Yeah.
And if you get a bad injury, tough shit. Sorry for swearing. You know what I mean? Those days are gone. You shouldn't be doing that to your players. And this is just like a fancier way of doing that. If it's doing that. So look, I'm not trying to push too hard here and say we know this or the club is doing this, but there are some signs here that are not good about how quick players come back.
And by the way, it took them 2 weeks to bring this out. 2 weeks.
No, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. And actually, I heard you on the earlier show talking about how did nobody know about this. The private medical sector in the UK is very, very good.
Yeah.
And they don't sell stories over here for a quick buck.
The Daily Mail doesn't work on that? No.
No, because over here you'll lose your job in an instant. They will find out who that person was. But also, let's be fair about it. This is a League One team, and Mullin isn't that famous. He's well known in his circle.
Yeah.
But he goes down to London to a private hospital, and he goes in the back door, so that nobody notices he's going in there. He has his surgery and he goes home quietly. Yeah, it's very, very easy to do here. They're not Premier players.
I just figured it's such a, so we have, maybe I just think we're a tighter knit community. I don't know. That's me just, thinking.
Yeah, we're in the bubble and we know them and we treat them at the level because they're in our circle, and that's fine. But the truth is they're famous within the bubble. They're not famous outside the bubble yet.
Yeah.
Like, take a random person and ask them who Mullin is, and they don't know him. But go to every town in the UK, you'll probably find somebody that knows him. You will find people that know him because they'll know about Wrexham.
Yeah.
But it's the team is not on a level yet that they're stars.
If it was like a Holland or somebody like that, you get the the thumbs. Yeah, somebody like that. Yeah. Nick says your sciatic nerve runs through your lower back down to your leg, which can probably have something to do with his hamstring. That makes that's a good shout there. He said George Williams says you can't discount that Paul Mullin was against having surgery and finally
stop there for a second. Okay, this is a very positive spin on what I've said. Okay, so look, I've been a little negative. This is probably one of the best case scenarios that I understand on everybody's side here. It's Paul Mullin that needs to have the surgery. And he's entitled to say no. He's entitled to push as long as he can push with every other treatment beforehand. So this is one I truly do understand. That he's against it for reasons I've said. Players don't like to do surgery because it could be the end of their career if they don't recover from the surgery well enough. And it's his choice, and he decided not to, and then maybe he relented at the end of the season. He thought he might be okay. I'll rest for this summer and I'll come back refreshed and I'll be good to go. But then he realized, look, it's just not going to happen. We've stepped up to a new league, and he put his hand up and he said, look, guys, I can't do it. And the decision then came a little bit later than we would like, but we don't live in a perfect world.
True.
So thank you, George. This is what I asked people to do with the comments. Put in some other ways of looking at this, and I think that's the most positive for everybody involved. Way of looking at this.
It's good. By the way, it even make the New York Times. But just we'll get to this too. Matt seems to think we're going to have the new kits tomorrow. He's got a beat on it. Matt, what do you know?
Okay.
Don't hold out, Matt. What do you got? Matt, come on now. Come on, Matt. But yes, I do want to see new kits tomorrow. A2ZEV. I think it's a good time for surgery. The team knew they built a good squad last season. It could be very likely to get promoted. This year challenge will be the difference between League 2 and League 1 is huge. Yes, very much so. Could have been more impact than last year. The start of League 1 is brutal. They could have 0 points for the first 6 games. Kim.
Okay. Yes, I seriously don't want 0 points from the first 6 games. Yes, it's possible. But no.
No.
No. Let's say 5. Let's say
Versus,
1 win, 2 draws,
hold on,
and 3 losses.
I'm trying to bring up the schedule. Hold on, let me bring up the schedule.
Yeah. No, I showed you the graph I have.
Yeah.
And the start of it's brutal.
Yeah.
The start of it's tough, but there are 2 matches in there, especially that are winnable. So let's say out of 6 matches, 1 win, 2 draws, 3 losses could be okay.
Hold on. Hold on. August 10th, Wickham Wanderers, right?
Yes, we can beat them.
EFL Cup, first round, Sheffield away, and the 13th,
Yeah,
3 days later.
We're done. Out. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bolton.
Yeah, lose that.
The 18th. Reading.
That's away, I believe, isn't it?
I think it's a win.
Bolton's away, yeah.
Yeah, Bolton's away, Wrexham's home. Oh, sorry, Reading's home.
Reading's home. Okay. Reading is, in my opinion, our first big challenge. A big team, but it's at home. So this is where we want to take something. We want to show intent. I think a nice draw against Reading at home, a big team at home, early season, while we're still getting our team together, while Mullin is gone, I would happily take a draw from Reading at home. Okay, so that's 3 points. That's 4 points.
That's 4 points. Peterborough. By the way, also again in there, the first round of the. I just re-looking at it now after the things dropped today about the Sheffield game. It's just 13th, 18th, 24th, 31. I mean that's a murderer's row of time there. Peterborough away, 31st.
Draw.
31st. And then Wrexham are playing Salford City at home in the league trophy. So
trophies. We'll win that, but it's a trophy.
Shrewsbury, 7th.
We should beat them.
Yeah. And then here we go. The big one. September 16th, Wrexham versus Birmingham away at Birmingham.
Yeah, and we should lose that. But again, like, okay, so here we go. Start of League One could be brutal. We could potentially, end up with a 0 from like the first 6. It could happen.
Yeah.
However, if we're doing any sort of okay, we could be 4, 5, 6, 7 points. Somewhere around there is perfectly fine.
Here's the counter argument to that. We're not done with our window yet. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
We're not done with the window yet.
And okay, so and here's another thing, right? If we don't have an amazing window, and we go into these first 4 league matches, and come out with 0 points,
that's an owie. That hurts.
But what do you think is going to happen? What happened last year? We didn't have a great start last year, and who did we bring in late?
We brought in Fletch.
In Fletch.
Yeah.
And O'Connell came in late? No, was it O'Connor? Who came in last year?
Gio. Was it Gio? Gio came in late. Yeah.
Gio came in late. Yeah. And we also took in bloody hell. My guy.
Oh, who?
Irish guy.
Fletcher. No.
No. Why is my brain gone soft this evening?
Hold on. Someone help us in the chat here. We've lost our brains. I'll bring up the teams. Here you go. Sheldon's. Oh, that's not. There you go. There's the team.
Hang on. Now I have it here in front of me.
Oh, Macca.
All right.
We've lost our brain today. Yeah, Macca.
Okay. And so late in the season, we came up with those 3. All right.
Yeah.
And Fletcher especially was a last minute, oh shit. You know, we're not doing great. We need to get some extra in. But McLean and Gio, what would our season have been like if we didn't take those 2 late? If we didn't get those done?
Different. Very different, I think. Gio's a huge. Macca was huge. Captain, I think he's. Okay, hold on. Jesus, this we didn't even talk about the captaincy if he's going to be out. I don't. Okay, like I absolutely think there's a possibility we bring someone big in late. And you know what I mean? A couple of games where we don't play well and worry. Yeah, the Irish guy. I remember the Irish guy. I knew someone was going to do that, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah.
Um,
It was almost too easy. It was almost too
yeah,
easy.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you see.
Just before we get moving on a little bit here about the surgeon, there's one thing I wanted to talk about. Where was it? Sciatic nerve. Sorry, just trying to. One more thing to remember. Our defense get. Where the hell? There you go. The test one. The other thing, going back, medical staff was being questioned for all those recurring injuries, lack of training on the pitch. I mean, they're not the only ones. Look at Arsenal. Manchester United medical staff sucks. People get hurt all the time. So no one wants to not take care of their players, obviously. But you look at it, it's like, oh, shoot, was this the right time? How long? It's obviously been hurting him a while. Made the decision to go do it. You got to make a decision. You got to make a decision to go. And they ended up doing that. So... Yeah.
So, one thing, our defense and midfield is very settled. Good, yes.
I agree with that.
And yes, I will agree with this, Aaron. This is what is going to save us this year. Is our defense. We had a very leaky defense in the first half last season. It took us a long time to figure out what we were doing. So, if we can survive early season with a very strong defense, we might not come out with some horrible results. If we can survive long enough without leaking goals early, we have a shot at getting nice draws against big teams and scoring and winning against winnable teams and pulling out an upset against some of the big teams too. So that could very well help us at the start of this season. Absolutely.
I think our defense is very settled. I think our goalkeeper settled. I like our midfield. And this is what I said earlier. The thing that scares me is our front line. And then this is even before. We still have some adjustments I think need to happen, by the way. At least 6 points. Big bulky striker. Yes, for sure.
Big bulky striker.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this kind of moves us on to what was the title of the show today. So Mulls Out, who's in?
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about it? Now, which way do you want to take these? Do you want to work from the bottom up, or do you want to work from the top down?
Well, go from the bottom up because that's I think kind of what we were talking about. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let me get this out.
So here in the list we got Billy Waters. Wasn't in the team last year. I see no reason for him to come back into the team now. He was brought in as an emergency. If something happens to Mullin, and looking back on it now, that may have been part to do with some of the issues he had. That if he went down with these issues, we need somebody. At the time, and Billy was the guy we ended up choosing, and it didn't seem to work out. But there's no reason, I think, for him to be coming back in to play a major part.
So, okay, let's play counter argument on that. Billy obviously didn't have a great spell at Doncaster. I don't even think he scored, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's talented. Okay. Before the 48 hours ago, I was saying Waters and Bickerstaff are out. Like they're going to go. Now, is there room for him? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. But he's a little, obviously, and he's going to replace Mulls. Position. If Mullin is missing for the beginning parts of the season. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
I see the guy next to him actually taking up that role.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Yeah. So let's assume for the moment we're going to have 6 up front. We had 6 in our squad last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think Waters will be in it. So pull down there a little bit more. Let's go to the next row for a second.
Yeah.
So we have Sam Dalby.
Yep.
He can't score. He's a good player, kind of. There's nothing particularly wrong with him. Jacob Mendy has a better scoring record per 90 minutes than Sam Dalby. That tells you enough.
I'd send him out on loan even in this scenario here. I'm still sending him out. I don't know if Parkinson or Parkin doesn't like him. I know Matt made a mention the other day. One of I could be talking. Matt, you can correct me if I'm wrong. He's liked by one, not liked by the other. I don't see it for him. He's a loan for me. So
yeah, I don't know what the club's going to do. They might keep him. They might have him there. He has been partnered up with Marriott last year, but it's a different scenario this year if we have to talk about Marriott being the number 1 instead of the number 2. As the number 2 team, it was Marriott and Dalby at times, Marriott and Fletcher at times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were all talking about Dalby. He wasn't good enough last year. He wasn't scoring the goals when he got the opportunities. So, like, in fairness, if Jacob Mendy can outscore you per 90 minutes and he's not a forward, that's harsh.
Yeah.
It really is. So Jacob Mendy had a 0.09 goals per 90 minutes, and Dalby had a 0.08.
It's not a good, and Mullin was out for a short for that period of time as well. He also didn't play at the end of the season at all. I don't think he.
So he didn't play a lot of minutes. No. So fair enough, that's understandable. But at the same time, look, you're still a striker.
Sure, I agree. DJ says I'm replacing Mullin with Macca. Oof, there you go. Billy outscored. Yeah. Well, Boyle outscored Dalby too. It sounds like. Who do you want to take next in this scenario here?
Fletcher.
Yeah.
Fletcher is not a starter. Simple as that.
Impact player.
He's very talented. He's an impact player, but you bring him on at the end when everybody else is tired, and you let him use his tricks, his flicks, and he very much goes by the saying that my old mammy used to love: sharing is caring. Out of everybody in the team, sharing is caring is his motto. He does not care who scores the goals. He passes the ball to anybody who's around him. Yeah. I say, here, you score.
Team player.
He does not care about scoring himself. Yeah. Unless the ball comes to him, he'll go for it. But yes, he's the biggest team player. He is a good impact sub, and he knows how to come on. But we have seen from the matches that he came on at the start, it didn't really work. And I think it's because the defense was too fast. He's a bit slower, and I don't think the team were up on his little tricks and flicks. So when he did them and threw them into the unusual spot, they were just a step behind.
Sure.
And they didn't get onto him. Quite a few more goals could have been scored if they were a little bit more in tune with the sort of stuff Fletcher does.
Yeah.
So potentially this year, I'm hoping that works better, because the players know Fletcher better. They know what he's going to do and how he does it. But he's an impact player, so he won't be taken over from Mullin.
He tries things. He does pass. He's good there. I like him a lot. I think he's got 15, 20 minutes in a max. If we're playing, there's a lot of games coming up here too. So this is, we'll get to this. Mary has to step up. If he doesn't, we're screwed, and have a recruit an A-list striker. We'll pop to that in a second as we run through, because I'm on board with that. Bickerstaff.
All right. Bickers went out on loan last season because he wasn't good enough to break into the squad and take a position. He went out on loan, and he didn't light the world on fire with another team in League 2. We have stepped up to League 1. Can you make an argument to say that he should come back into the team?
I'd like to try, but
I can't.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you say that last season someone wasn't good enough in League 2? And you send him out on loan, and he doesn't have a great loan, and now make an argument they should come back in League 1 and be a main player. Yeah. He's a great player. He's a nice guy. I have no problem with him in general or anything like that. But yeah, he can't be a main guy.
No, he's not.
Maybe he'll end up on the bench. Who knows? It's possible that he's on the bench, but he's not the guy to step up to be first team, first 11.
I agree with that. I would. For me, I would sell him. I would sell him.
Yeah,
that's just me. And then you have the youngster here, Callum Edwards.
Callum Edwards, he doesn't count in the 22. Nope. He can hang around the team. We have no idea how good he is. If Parkinson and them think he's good enough to step up and try it, then he'll put him on the bench and he'll put him out for a run and see how he gets on.
Was he player of the season last year, or for the unders?
The
academy? Yeah.
Maybe,
I'm not sure.
But he'll certainly get a couple of cup runs, maybe.
Yeah, I could see him.
He'll get some cup runs. Maybe he'll break into the squad later, or sit the bench more. That's fine.
Yeah, he'll be playing in the Chelsea and all. He'll probably play, maybe the Salford game could see that happening for sure. So yeah, he'll do that if we keep him around. I think that's good.
Well, he's just re-signed, and then we've Rainbird as well, who I have not heard of.
I don't know.
James Rainbird, he's re-signed a professional contract, so technically he can play for us. He's under the 21 limit, so again he can be pulled in if they feel he's good enough.
Yeah, so he is young, obviously.
But he's young. They're very young, so I doubt it.
Yeah, that's
but
not.
But they put him in the first squad because he's now gone professional.
Yeah,
so he's in this.
We have a lot of strikers, and I'm just like, By the way, JB65, always my favorite comment. Hey Josh, hey Patty, how are you? Good to see you, JB65. All right, so here you go.
So now we're back to the main two. We have Jack Marriott, and we have Palmer. Now, Marriott has to step up. Yes, if he doesn't, we're screwed. Potentially. I have always been a fan of Marriott in the short periods he was on the pitch. He has looked like he's been getting in very good positions.
Yes.
He has sometimes not gotten the passes that maybe you would hope. He has had some nice passes that he has missed, that he jumped at or chopped at or whatever. There were a couple of times he should have scored goals. Put it down to nervousness or whatever.
Trying too hard.
Brand new to the squad, trying too hard, trying to break in. Yes, maybe that. So to me, he has the bones of a player that can step up and can take over from Mullin.
Yes.
Now, does the team have to change a little bit to make Marriott work? I would hope that Parky and the team would look at that if they can make a few changes to make Marriott work. But also Marriott now has a summer of training with the team as well. And there's a lot on Marriott's shoulders to readjust his sights according to what's needed by Parky as well.
Do you think that
there's two sides to that coin?
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's it. Like
right.
We say Parky will not change. If Parky will not change his style and what he wants to do, then Marriott has to adjust to exactly what Parky wants. Okay. Now, Marriott is a professional football player.
Yes.
And I am very much of the mindset that you should be able to learn to do what your coach wants. You should not be a pure one-trick pony. That you learned this style and now you can't take any other styles on board. So I would give Marriott the benefit of the doubt because he came in January. It was all match. I'm sure there wasn't time or as much time to work with Marriott and get him up to scratch exactly on, we want you in this position, we want the players dropping the ball in here, we want you to be doing this and passing it here.
Also, getting on the training ground with your teammates and learning their cadences. So you kind of know, like, I know that so and so likes the ball to feet. I like to put it out. Like they know you get to know that. So that's a fair argument. I think I was going to say that unless we go and the HB printer prints out something, of another small, I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be the one that's going to step up for Mulls while he's out, considering whatever it is. We'll see a lot of them during the tour, but all eyes on me, all eyes on JM for me. In my opinion.
So as it starts, then that leaves us with Jack Marriott and Ollie Palmer.
Yes,
as our front two
for starters.
Right? Yeah, as our front starters.
Yep.
And then we have who backing him up? Fletcher, obviously.
Yep, Fletcher's there.
But who's the number two? Because we have said everybody else doesn't. We don't need them.
The
right?
HP printer
which opens a spot here that we need someone else.
Yes.
So either we're going to go back to one of the players we already have to become the first core four.
Yeah.
Now I know we need six because injuries and resting and all of this, but we'll concentrate on the main four. Let's say you have Palmer and you have Marriott up front, then you have Fletch coming on as well. Although as a starter, I don't know.
He can't.
We need at least one more.
There's a big shift. Guys need to go out on loan or be sold, and we need a big. And I like Palmer a lot. Does he get you 20? I think you said it to me. Does he get you 20 goals next season? 15? I don't think so. I mean, I don't think he will. He played well at the end of the season. I'll give him that. But I don't.
Yeah.
I think we need a big.
For me, he just missed a lot of really good opportunities for headers, especially headers. Especially there was quite a few situations where he got in really good spots and he just couldn't finish it. So I think we need one more.
I think you're right.
In our current scenario, assuming Mullin is coming back at some point, who do we need? And for me, it's Ollie Palmer is on his last year of contract. I don't think it's going to be renewed. Would be my guess.
Is he 31?
So I think now is the occasion where you try and upgrade Ollie Palmer to the best replacement you can get.
I'm all in for that.
And Palmer becomes the number 2 in that scenario.
Yeah.
And then you have someone in Palmer's position who potentially is even better than Marriott. But he does a different job.
Yeah.
He sets Marriott up, but he also finishes all the opportunities that at the moment we're missing. And that puts this new fictional striker on 15 of his own goals.
I didn't realize he was
at least.
But I didn't know he was 6'5". 6'5". He is a big one. He's a big unit.
Yeah. So what you're hoping for is someone who can score 15 of his own goals and have another 15 assists.
Yeah.
By getting Marriott another 15. Yeah. And then Marriott gets his own goals as well.
Yeah. If that's the case, the Bradshaw, he's 31 years old. He only had 4 goals last season. I think 15 before. I don't like the makeup of the age profile. I want to be younger. DJ says, I think Parky needs a consistent starting team. I hate how you never know who starts, but the best out of
the best out there first. Yeah, I would agree with that, but I would also argue, if I'm going to argue this on behalf of Parky, maybe the group of players he had last year were a little bit too close together in skill level. So he could make his argument about rotation, about trying to put in Fletcher and Dalby and all of these different variations that he put out from time to time, Marriott and Dalby, Marriott and Fletcher. He was trying, and in theory, the players should have been good enough to do it. So yes, you would argue that. But my point on it would be, I don't believe that's the same this season. I think there are bigger gaps now where the younger players have potentially gotten a little bit better. The older players have gotten a little bit weaker because it's another year. They're another year slower. They're another year older. I think it's a little bit more divided now. And especially with Mullin out, opening up a spot that would always have been a near guarantee unless he's rested. Now that's what's opening things up again. But I do not think what we have is good enough.
I agree with you too.
Being honest, for League One. Now, okay, let me just quantify that before someone jumps at me in the comments.
Yeah.
It depends what you're saying they're good enough for. And at the moment, I am still talking about running at the playoffs. Because I think the team is good enough to survive in League One. If we want to survive, then okay, we're fine. I'm not worried about any of this. We're going to have a okay season.
Yeah.
But if we want to push and if we want to have a shot at getting higher in the league and even getting close, and look, even if we don't get to the promotion spots, that's okay too. But if we want to try, if we want to have a shot at it, we need some more players. There's at least one striker, and it should be a big signing. In this scenario here where Mullin is gone, I don't want a half replacement. I don't want another player that we have to choose between our players. I want a player in who you say there is zero argument for them not being number 1.
He's a starter.
Starting, yeah. So my problem with that is that's why you don't replace Marriott. Because for me, Marriott has to step up.
I
We
agree.
bought him in January. We said he was good enough in January to be a League One player. He came down for us.
Hmm.
It didn't really work out, but we give the benefit of the doubt because it was a January signing and everything else that came with it.
Hmm.
We need someone to come in. And unless we're completely changing our style and putting a better Marriott with a Marriott,
Hmm.
which I don't think we're going to do,
I don't think so either.
then what you need to do is you need a big upgrade on Palmer's position. And Palmer becomes the number 2 in that position. And Marriott gets his shot.
So this is rumor and hearsay. A bid has got in for this young man right here. I don't think that's what's happening.
Okay.
2.5 M's, I think it was. I mean, I'm just, it could all be BS. Go big or go home. But I don't know how big he is. 178. What is that in real world? How big is that?
Less than 6 foot.
Okay. So he's not.
He's not big. No,
No, okay.
he's not a big guy. He's a poacher.
Yeah.
He sits in the box. He's a very good finisher.
Mm-hmm.
But he sits in the box and waits for you to give him the ball. If he doesn't get the ball, he's screwed.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't run around like Mullin. He doesn't chase after people. He doesn't make things happen. He did nothing in our games because we blocked him out. They could not get the ball to him.
I didn't say we did.
And
I didn't say. I just someone did. But how do we know that for sure? Sorry, just out of curiosity.
So this is what I was talking about in the Discord earlier as well. It is all over the deep dark social media where you find all sorts of crap.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of talk that we have made a bid on Macaulay Langstaff. I have no idea where that came from. What I have heard from everywhere else is we haven't made a bid for him.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just talk. And it has become talk multiple times.
Sure.
But the talk is that it's a 2.5 million bid.
I saw that. Mm-hmm.
That's been made on him. Now, like, I don't believe that for a second.
That's a lot of money.
And I think that it's another using Wrexham. Wrexham have a name. Wrexham supposedly have deep pockets. I think we're being used again here. That somebody is floating out information saying that Wrexham are interested in Langstaff again to try and get him a better deal. I think his deal is almost done, and they're trying to scare up an extra couple of 100,000 or whatever, or an extra couple of thousand wages.
Yeah.
If it's even true.
Mm-hmm.
But there seems to be interesting stories out there that a bid is being made for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, say maybe Swansea. Although it's weird though, because they just made him the captain. Okay,
yeah.
He came out and had a big to do about it. I get it, so.
But the owners of Nott are money men. Mm-hmm. They are statsmen, and as far as they're concerned, every player has a number that it's worth selling them, and we will find a replacement. That's their opinion.
Yeah, so Swansea or whatever the hell it is, because he go to his old manager. That makes sense to me. That makes more sense than us for sure.
So that's fine. But I don't think Langstaff is the type we need.
I agree.
Because I don't think we're going to be dominating this league. He's the type of player that you need to be strong and you need to be dominating, because you need your team in possession to get the ball to him, and then he can finish it. But if we are not dominating this league, and we very well might not be, it's going to be scrappy. We're going to need everybody fighting. Mm-hmm. And we're going to need some long balls over the top, and we're going to need to take our chances.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem like that type of player for us.
Aaron says Millwall bid $2.6 million for him. There's no credible report that we have bid on him. Only people on Red Passion have said that. Yeah, I don't think we bid for. I was just talking about it'd be a good talking about it. But I do think we need Marriott to step up. As of right now, it's going to be Marriott and Palmer starting, and I think we need a Palmer upgrade. That's what I think, and some players move out. That's what I think. I think we agree with that. So.
Yeah. Who was the player that just came up there a minute ago on the
Ironside? Joe Ironside.
Which one is that now?
I'll bring him up.
Yeah, bring him up there, because was it Ironside I was looking at earlier? Maybe it was.
Doncaster Rovers.
Maybe not then.
30.
No, it's not Ironside. I was looking at it was someone else. I've heard of Ironside. All right, maybe. Who knows?
I don't even
Would
know.
be a good Parma upgrade. Would he be an amazing Parma upgrade, or would he just be an okay upgrade? Is the question with that?
Didn't he score a couple good goals for Doncaster in the? I mean, he's 30. I don't want 30. I know it sounds like I don't want somebody who's 30 years old. It's Billy Sharp. I don't know. Maybe a lone player. I don't know, but something. I don't know. I don't know. I have to do some research. I'm not sure, but I know. I think we need a Palmer up just because I think Palmer. I don't think he can do full. I mean, that's Palmer. If they're going to try Dalby out, oh no. Maybe they think it's going to be Dalby.
Yeah.
Maybe they think it's going to be Dalby, but I hope not. We'll see. Right.
There was. I can't remember who it is now. We've been linked with so many names. There was a lone player that we were linked to for one of the other teams. We've also been linked to 2 other players on that team as well, but the lone player is only 23.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he looked like he had some amazing stats.
You know what team?
Who have we been raiding a lot lately? There's been a huge amount of rumors about this team. Is it Millwall? It's Millwall. It's Millwall. We've been looking at all their players, but it was a loan to Millwall last season, so he's not their player.
Oh, wow.
And they would like him to come back and become their player potentially.
Let me just do this. Millwall.
So Millwall players last
Bradford.
season.
Was it Bradford? I mean, we talked about the Bradford, which I don't want Bradford. He's also 31 as well.
Let me jump into Discord. I have it. I put it up in Discord.
Wes Harding, the center half. That's what we're talking about. And Bradford. Those are the guys. Nesbitt? No. Tom Bradshaw. That's the guy we're talking about. I don't know. You're right. We're linked to so many stupid people. It's just ridiculous. Joe Morrill, obviously, that's been out there too, but he's a midfielder. I'm not sure.
Ryan Longman.
Ryan who?
Ryan Longman. I think that's him.
Let's see. Hull City. Look, it's a winger. There he is. This guy?
23, that might have been him.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Left wing. No, maybe I'm mixing up then. No, it's not an attacker.
He plays center forward.
Okay, well.
He was at Millwall last year. That looks about right. 2.5 million highest. I mean, it's not cheap, but Millwall and Wigan are in for Wrexham. Our Wrexham farm team, says Kim.
Yeah.
Ryan
Longman. Left wing back.
We need to do something.
All
this is a great conversation. I know I got to jump because I have it's 4th of July and I got a couple things planned. But this is great. Like I said, Sheldon and I were just sitting and having a conversation. Might as well bring it out to everybody to continue it. We're in the Discord. I did update the Discord as well, so you can check that out. And appreciate you coming in, man. That was a good little chat there. If anything else breaks, we're here. We'll do it. We're gonna go live as we know. Last bits out to you. On your end?
Yeah, all good, guys. We will see you again around the channel soon. My channel is still in the works. We are still in the middle of the summer, so I am not in a rush to start it. But very, very soon, start of the season, we will be doing things on my channel also. But I'll still be here.
Yeah.
So you won't miss me.
He'll be here. Yeah, awesome. No, it's always fun to have a good chat, and this is good. So, all right, maybe there's kits tomorrow. Matt's holding out, just dropping bombs in there and pulling out. So, Matt, if you got something, let us know. But maybe kits tomorrow. We'll see. Got the 2 games tomorrow. I'm definitely going to do one of them. The morning game, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do 2 games tomorrow. I want to maybe just enjoy one and then do that. But I'll definitely be doing a game tomorrow afternoon for sure. So smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe on our way to 900. And then when Sheldon's things come up, we'll also subscribe and support his channel as well. So thanks, y'all, for coming in. And on that bombshell, I will see you all soon.
Catch you in the Discord.
If